Welcome to Michigan Sports Radio. Scott Morgan here with Coach Kamen. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Scott. Good to be here.
Coach, hey, let's talk about last week's win over Sparta and get your thoughts on how the game went.
Yeah, I thought that our kids did a good job of hanging in there. I thought defensively we played very well. Did a good job with our gap assignments and keeping plays in front of us. I thought that we tackled fairly well. They had some good backs. I thought we did a good job of using good technique and getting people to the ground. I thought we ran to the football well. We got pursuit and multiple people to the football to tackle some pretty big backs.
Yeah, like you said, that was one of the concerns we talked about is how big Sparta's line was, and defensively, I think you did a very well job.
Yeah, I think our defensive staff did a great job with Eric Lyon and Scott Lyon and Josh Durham of just talking about some different things we could do to get some movement within our front and create some angles that would help us in certain situations to defeat some blocks and maybe sort of line up one way and then get to another look after the snap that would give us a better chance to be successful against some bigger linemen.
Tony Nikodemski had a wonderful game defensively for you. He came up with, I believe, 15 tackles, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
A lot of that to do with how your front guys taking on the double teams and allowing him to scoot through?
Yeah, I think Tony just every week is getting better at making reads and trusting his instincts. I think like we talked about before, he's new to the middle linebacker position, so playing the mic is something new for him. But he's adjusting fairly well.
Yes.
So, just every week it's about it really just comes back to his reads and then playing fast. And he plays fast, that's for sure. So,
Kenny Bates did a wonderful job as well, and we were just talking a little bit about it before we went online here. But give me your thoughts on I think, as we called it, the play of the game where he knocked the fumble.
Yeah, I guess I'll speak to first both our Sam and our Will linebacker, Kenny Bates, and then Devin Smith, both I thought played very well. We had some pressure packages we were using with those guys off the edge, and I thought they both applied a lot of pressure to the quarterback in some key situations, and also tackled fairly well on our run game as far as defending their run game. Because we're playing more aggressive with our defensive ends and really put our linebackers in some tough spots and some one-on-one tackling situations with their quarterback or running back. And more often than not, we came down with a tackle and made the play. But really what you're speaking to mostly is Kenny's play, that effort play. And Kenny just plays hard. And we got a lot of kids that play hard, but Kenny had a great effort play with chasing down their quarterback on a long run. It was probably going to be about a 35 or 40-yard touchdown run. And he chased the play down and was able to tomahawk his arm and kind of punch it out. And the ball rolled through the end zone and got a touchback. So it's just a big effort play for us on defense.
Offensively, you guys did a very nice job. What's impressed me so far, Coach, is how quickly you guys score. I mean, we get the possession and you take off right away. Is that mental preparedness on the guys' part?
Yeah, I think it comes back a little bit to the way we practice, in that we try to practice fast and really get a good pace going. I guess in terms of our offensive practices, I try not to stop and coach a lot of things during team time. We try to just keep going and then make notes of what went wrong and fix it later.
Okay.
In more like a classroom setting or on video, or just maybe talking after while we're getting water and whatnot. But we try to keep playing fast so that by the time we get to the game's actually slower than practice. So I think that helps kind of slow things down for our kids a little bit when it comes to the game, so they're not so overwhelmed that way. But I also think it's unbelievably difficult to prepare your team defensively for that type of speed and how we play, right? So you put yourself in their shoes defensively.
Yeah.
It's hard to recreate that in practice.
Yep.
So it comes down to our execution, number one. I think it's our mindset. We know our kids know we're going to take the ball. We want to have the ball first. We want to go score. I believe there was a stat I was reading over the years, and I believe it was over 79% of the time, the team that scores first wins the game.
Yeah.
So we feel confident in our offense and making plays.
Do you have a set play, a group of plays that you're going to run for your first possession, or do you look at how it's playing out and make changes as you're going through that first possession?
Yeah, there's some different schools of thought on that as far as like scripting plays.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not big on scripting. I will say that going in early on, we have an idea of some formations we want to show them to see how they react to certain things.
Okay.
And see how they align and see how they move with different motions. And with those different motions, usually you just kind of normally teams have one kind of reaction to it, and then we have some ways to attack that motion, But I will say that we try to choose high percentage plays that have a chance of being good gainers to get us probably 7+ yards. and then we try to play fast from there. So really we do try to group plays in the sense of our 1st and 10 plays, our plays that are high percentage, get the ball out quick and let's just get the ball rolling and kind of try to get that thing going downhill.
We talked about one of your keys to the game was turnovers, and of course we'll look over your shoulder again, and there it is, +7. You were able to take away the ball 4 times from Sparta. Big on your part.
Yeah, we talk about turnover ratio all the time. We've mentioned it every week. You and I talk, and up there on the whiteboard is +7. So we were able to come out of this one +3. We had 4 takeaways from them, but we did have 1 interception on a 4th and goal.
Yeah.
We tried to run a little rub play to the goal line, and we didn't quite get our guy. But again, I think it just speaks to our effort defensively, and being in the right spots. I mean, to have turnovers, you have to be in the right spots, and you also have to hustle and have effort and create some of those situations. So I think it's been a combination of those 2 things.
Wonderful. And again, coming from last year, coaching at Sparta, games all done. You and Mark Chapman, of course, are very good friends. How did that go?
As far as like before the game, after the game?
Yeah, before the game and then after the game.
Yeah, I would say that, it's obviously different in this, because of the fact that it's a group of guys you've coached with for 7 years. So it was strange being on the other side of the field as they're warming up and stuff. That was unique, obviously. But it's just, you ask those guys, they'll tell you the same thing. On a Friday night, we both want to win, and that's what it comes down to. And we're great friends, and we'll be friends for a long time. But on Friday night, we both want to win, and that's just how it was going to be. And I think that for the most part, during the week, it was pretty quiet. We didn't, there wasn't a whole lot of interaction. Which is fine, but then after the game we talked, on the field obviously, and then we had conversations that evening actually on the phone, and then the next day, and we talked this weekend as well. So we talk every week anyway. So so it was good.
Like I said, I did get the chance to go up to the Sparta, the JV game, and did get to see you interact with the guys up there, and they really truly like you as a person, as a coach, and that was wonderful to see. It confirms my person, how I feel, how I see you, and as a coach and as a person, and it's good to see. Like I said, the kids were very, going out and shaking your hand and giving you high fives and everything. So that was wonderful to see, and that's kudos to you and your personality and what you give to these kids.
Yeah, I mean they've got some great kids up there. I mean people again. I don't think people understand how much time you spend with your team when you're coaching football and you're playing football as a student athlete. So. There's a lot of days where you're around each other a lot, all winter long, and spring, and whatever else. So we were working a lot, and those kids put in a ton of work, and we made some good strides there last year. And just the 1 year we were there, and I think anytime you spend time with those kids, it comes down to building relationships, and those kids know how much you care about them. It was neat to be able to see them and talk to them. It had been a while.
Wonderful. We'll be right back right after this message. We'll talk about upcoming West Catholic.